deeper intuitions, my felt knowledge in my body is who I am. I'm going to call that stage 4. Now, doesn't that sound a little fuzzy, a little dangerous, a little, wow, my felt knowledge in my body? Am I going to tell that to 17-year-old boys, my felt knowledge in my body is who I am? It's only people in stage 4 or above who can work with it, who understand I'm not talking about gross manifestations. I've begun the subtle journey where I can discern and discriminate desolation from consolation. I would say the spiritual exercises, just like initiation, are meant to open up at least stage 4. At least stage 4. That there's something deeper than reading books. There's no real soul encounter, if I can call it that, until stage 4. There's mental encounter. There's willful encounter. There's no soul encounter until stage 4. And I'm going to describe stage 4 as felt knowledge in my body, deeper intuitions. This stage is so ego-inflating. So exciting. You could spend the next 10 years keeping a perfect journal on your dreams. You're just a Jungian, and Jung is God, and it's wonderful. My God, who wouldn't stay there 10 years, or forever? The inner life comes to life. You take the lid off of the unconscious. You're grooving at this level, and it feels like just an endless and open horizon. This did happen on a rather grand scale, not a mature scale, but a broad scale in the 1960s. I always tell the story of, I can remember being in the seminary recreation room somewhere during those early 60s. Vatican II was happening. And we didn't have TV yet. We just had radio in the recreation room. And I was sitting by the radio, and I heard a song, and I started listening to it, and they're called Simon and Garfunkel. And the name of the song is The Sounds of Silence. And I listened to it. And pretty soon I yelled at all my classmates, listen, this song really has meaning. You've got to be my generation to recognize that up to that time, no song had any meaning. It was do-dop-de-bop. It was all meaningless phrases. Do you understand? And Simon and Garfunkel sang music. The words meant something. It was so exciting. So we all crowded around and we waited for Simon and Garfunkel to get on again. It was a breakthrough in consciousness in the 60s. Suddenly we expected deeper meanings. You've got to realize how extraordinary that is. It was so exciting. And of course it produced the civil rights movement, the anti-war movement, people thinking for themselves, women claiming their own dignity and power and recognizing they were culturally kept in a subservient position to men. And that they themselves didn't even have eyes to see that. And in fact, a lot of women defended, some women still defend that subservient position. Because if you haven't gotten to stage 4 yourself, you feel so much comfort at stage 2 or even 3. Now, why would you want to leave? Why would you want to go any further? So, if you stay there in this terribly exciting and ego-inflating stage too long, you tend to become individualistic. If you stay there too long, hear me correctly, you tend to become self-absorbed. Inner work, in my experience, becomes a substitute for any encounter with otherness, with transcendence. You don't have to meet the other, the I-thou relationship. It's still judging everything from the perspective of I. I am still the reference point. Maybe I have a little more sophisticated thoughts and more sophisticated feelings than stage 3, but I haven't been radically decentered. Now that might surprise you, because I talked about experiencing a great death. But it was a state. It's not yet a stage, the great death. It hasn't become a transformed consciousness. You're still playing with it. You're still seeing if you want to live in this different self. And so I'm convinced, and I use my generation of the 60s as an example, it is possible for some people to be introduced to stage 4 and to regress, to go back. The price is too high, it's too uncomfortable, there's too much ambiguity, darkness. You don't have enough of a support system, frankly.